But I've picked a couple of news stories this week that I like and I read that I figure, hey, it'd be worth talking about at least. And then I've got some reviews and some picks for the coming week in comic books because I haven't done that in a good 3 weeks or so. But the first news story is Blackpills launches streaming video app with originals from Luc Besson and Sharon Horgan, and many more. Now this is a digital media company which is focused on creating short form digital comment or content aimed at millennials. And if you go by British Parliament, I'm a millennial, so this is geared right towards me. The It's digital media firm producer is now available in the US via the Apple App Store and Google Play. The free ad-supported service will be launching with 12 original shows, including one based on an idea by Luc Besson, one executive produced by Sharon Horgan, who fans of the show will know I've mentioned her before because of the fact that she's one of the creators, writers, stars of Catastrophe over on Amazon Prime / Channel 4. And she was also on The Increasingly Poor Decisions of Todd Margaret. But they've got other people in here. Brian Singer and James Franco are also involved in this, as well as there's going to be a show directed by Zoe Cassavetes. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, and Louis Leterrier. And it's planned to launch additional new shows every week, with the aim of launching a total of 50 original programs this year. Now, this seems pretty cool. I mean, this, in all honesty, is a big market to have, because I mean, we look at the original part, and they mention it here. The app, which is free to download, is aimed at young viewers and offers up bite-sized episodes of about 10 minutes in length. So, I mean, we're not talking, long episodes. This is something that I think Fullscreen was originally advertised for, or like pitched for, was like, oh, it's going to be shorter bite-sized pieces, which they did with like the Electro Woman and Dyna Girl. Like, it makes up a whole hour-and-a-half movie or whatever, but they chopped it up into, 20 or 10 to 15-minute pieces. You then look at, and there are other companies that have tried to do the same thing, but yet it has sort of failed. Even stuff like AOL has done this. Like the James Franco thing is a Spring Breakers adaptation for a new season of the show, Making a Scene, or which was formerly at AOL. There's going to be a 70s set series starring Denise Richards, and there's other products from online influencers like Logan Paul and Christian Del Grosso. And the other part I didn't know is Blackpills, which has offices in Paris, LA, and Tel Aviv, is already available in France and other parts of Europe. So Beat might already have access to a lot of the stuff now. And the company had struck a deal with Vice in March for a branded channel. All of this makes sense for a digital media company, especially one that is geared towards the millennials, this Generation Y. I believe it's ages from 81 until 95, I believe, is for the years you were born, and I fit right in that. But yeah, so it is an interesting idea. I think it is one of those things. And the other part is on the website, getting this from the Hollywood Reporter, it's showing it shows a picture of a iPhone with some of the stuff, and it's all very much just it shows, like Junior, Secret Life of a Teenage Badass in LA, directed by Zoe Cassavetes, All Wrong, starring Brittany Ferlin and stuff like that. And Beat's asking an interesting question right now. Is that the generation in the money spending for content tradition, though? And I think it is, partially because I'm in that generation. But I do think it's sort of like two camps, because of the fact that you have the one camp, me, who, I used to pirate stuff, but it quickly became, once I had the money, then I started doing things legit. I started paying for Netflix and Amazon Prime and I have full screen through because I have an AT&T phone and all that. It's one of those things that like I'm like, and we have the other camp here of people who are like, oh, I'm going to pirate it. I don't care. I'm just going to pirate it. From working in retail, I still get people asking all the time, is this the new Fire Stick that it's supposed to not be able to be jailbroken and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't necessarily need to know like if this stuff is jailbroken because I would much rather support the people that I can. The not just the writers, directors, producers, actors, people that you'd normally see on there, that might get the top billing at the end of, in the end credits of a show, but the camera people, the grips, the production assistants, all those small little guys. And Beat's also pointing out, this is tough competition with YouTube Red and Twitch. Definitely. But the problem is YouTube Red needs that big program. I mean, they came out strong with, announcing stuff from PewDiePie, may have backfired, and other, Rhett and Link had a show that came up, and I think the second batch of original stuff, and then there's that show Foursome that I believe I talked about, and then Twitch went back, in my opinion, went back to the Justin TV roots, where they've quickly went back from, oh, well, we're going to be about gaming to we're going to be about what you guys want, broadcasting stuff that you guys want to talk about, what you guys want to broadcast and all that. Yeah. But with the Amazon money now is essentially the Twitch philosophy is like, hey, we got that Bezos money, yo. So we're going to do what we want. So, I mean, I do think this is, and the interesting part with this is, and the part that's going to sell it is the fact that it's free. It's ad supported. So that could live and die by the fact that, we don't have, if the ads get repetitive, like if it's, like I remember with the Comcast Stream app, it was really hard to get the production or the commercials for a lot of the channels. Like USA Network would just have this thing saying, oh, we're on a commercial break, we'll be right back, and all that. And then Disney Channel would actually air their own, like Disney Channel Cartoon Network would air their own commercials throughout the breaks and all that. And then occasionally you would get we're on a commercial break, we'll be right back, why don't you go outside for a minute, stuff like that. And now it's just like, no, play the commercials, just play the commercials because we're going to get more money that way. That's what I think Blackpills is going to have to do, is get a variety of commercials so people aren't fed up with see the same Geico ad 30 times in this while I've been on here for 2 hours and stuff like that, because that gets really old really quick. The next news story is that Shea Fontana will be taking over the title in July from Greg Rucka for the Wonder Woman title in comic books. This is sort of what I was waiting for, to be honest, because they announced a while back ago that Nicholas Scott and Liam Sharp, I believe Liam Sharp left or was leaving the book, and Greg Rucka were all leaving the Wonder Woman book for different reasons. The reasons were never really shared. And this is one that I really got into, as you will see a little bit later in one of my actually probably my Elsewords topic, now that I'm thinking about it. But great writing, great art in this Wonder Woman story. Definitely leading up to a hopefully great Wonder Woman movie. But Shea Fontana actually she's came up the ropes through DC in probably in the right way, probably in the most WWE way I can think of, because she responsible for she wrote for the DC Entertainment's DC Superhero Girls, and I enjoyed that. I mean, I haven't read the comic books, but I watched some of the specials, like the little bits of it, and I enjoyed what I saw. Fontana has signed on to write 5 issues of the twice monthly series of the heroine, beginning in July's number 26. The storyline that will introduce a new villain into the DC universe. And this is she's written a couple graphic novels. She's also written animated adventures and digital content, and a digital comic series for the property. So it sounds like she does know the character, because she's been there with the part, with for a while now. And the artist for Fontana's first 2 issues will be Mirka Andolfo, who has previously worked, whose work has previously appeared in the DC Comics Bombshell series. A really great art style. If I've read the issues that they drew, and the only thing that makes me wonder though is it all depending on the sales whether she will stay on. But no, so Fontana, and she's basically on for 5 issues, and it seems weird. Like I remember back when Archie got rebooted, and at first they're like, "Oh yeah, it's going to be Mark Waid and Veronica Fish," or no, not Veronica Fish, Fiona Staples, and I'm like, "Oh hell's yeah!" One of my favorite writers, one of my favorite artists. Bring it. And then it quickly went, oh well, she's only going to do a couple issues. And it wasn't announced that she was only going to do a couple issues. Just like they're coming in to do, to launch this new universe. And then it shifted to Annie Wu, and I'm like, all right, cool, I could see this, but that was for 1 issue, and I'm like, why are you guys announcing this like they're coming on permanently when it's only for such a short amount of time? So I'm hoping this is like a trial run before it takes off, and to where see how sales go, and if it meets them, then she'll continue on. She's got big shoes to fill with Greg Rucka. I mean, he's told a great story again, breaking down Wonder Woman into a mental state, breaking down this mentally, and then building her back up to where everyone's like, yeah, guess what, guys, she's a badass, do not forget it. But yeah, the number 26 will be released in comic book stores and digitally July 12th, and number 27 will be released on July 26th. The third and final news story for the week is a big one for me, and that is the Animaniacs reboot is officially in the works. This is coming from comicbook.com, and this is the news that Warner Brothers has been working with Spielberg's production company, Amblin Television, to bring the show back. And the reports also state that Spielberg is expected to be working on the project as well. To what degree, we do not know. I could not be more excited about this, in all honesty, because this was the beginning for me, like in growing up, where it was like, all right, sit down, watch, like I'd watch Spider-Man over on Fox on Saturday mornings for the Saturday morning cartoons, and then flip over and boom, Animaniacs on WB, and just, yep, done. I'm good. Like, we're good. Yeah, X-Men 2. I was like, Spider-Man was the first love, Brandon. So I always got to mention that, and then X-Men was there too. Batman, I liked Batman, but Batman my cousin was more into. And it's weird because I'm drinking out of a Joker mug and wearing a Batman t-shirt right now, and I have Batman stuff behind me to say that, but it was just like, that's how it was. Like, growing up, I was Spider-Man, and it was like, oh, Batman's stupid, but I was a dumb kid. There's no, okay, so far from what the article says, there's no potential or there's no home yet for it. So I mean, you could look at this like, okay, it could come to Netflix, where they've already done reboots before. WB, where Warner Brothers does own big chunks of Cartoon Network, I believe. So I mean, it could go there, but I don't know if Animaniacs would fit in Cartoon Network. Just because, I mean, yes, Cartoon Network does have some weird shows that I don't think would be there if it wasn't for Animaniacs. I think the time might have passed for them being on there. I could see honestly, probably the biggest fit would probably be on Netflix, just because of the fact that The original stuff is already on there through volumes, at least here in America. Brandon's asking, Brandon Raymond asking, is daytime Nickelodeon still a thing? Yes and no. Recently it's been, and this is because I work, later in the day, but recently it's been, Cartoon Network, or not Cartoon Network, old SpongeBob shows. But you definitely get more of the live action stuff later on. Like it's usually like the one thing that Nickelodeon still kept going is the fact that they have Nick Jr. They still have like Bubble Gup. It's like different programs now, but it's like Bubble Guppies and for the preschoolers, which I definitely do enjoy because I was towards the tail end. I was probably older than what I could have been for as the target demo for Nick Jr. But I did enjoy Nick Jr. when it was a thing, when it was like big and popular, just because it was like the alternative to PBS. It's like PBS was basically Arthur, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Sesame Street. I don't know why I blanked on Sesame Street. That was the first one that came to my mind. And then Nickelodeon had like Binya Binya Island and all these other shows that I liked too. And it was like these complementary things where it wasn't really educational. It was definitely more towards entertainment, but there was a little bit of education stuff there. Oh, and PBS Kids, of course. I can't forget. That's where at first I saw Bill Nye the Science Guy. But yeah, so I definitely do. I don't know. I would love to see Animaniacs on Cartoon Network. If not just to see on my guide where it says Animaniacs, Animaniacs The Return or whatever, and it'd be like new episodes and all that stuff. But I don't think it would really work because it'd probably do a 15-minute format then, and with how Animaniacs was, you don't need you need a half hour for that because of the fact that they do these segments. They do different little skits in there. I mean, okay, basically, and I just realized this now, a way to sell it to people is Animaniacs was an animated sketch show and all that. So I mean, it's probably going to be Netflix. I have to say, but I don't know. Well, that is it for the news.